For years, the world's attention focused on the G7. These 7 powerful nations, including the United States, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the United Kingdom, seem to dominate global economic and political discussions. These wealthy nations seem to hold all the cards. They set the rules, made the decisions, and influenced the direction of global policies. But a new group emerged, challenging the old order. This group, known as BRICS, brought together 5 major emerging economies. This group is BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Formed in the early 2000s, BRICS aimed to create a counterbalance to the G7's influence. BRICS represents a shift in global power. These nations, with their vast populations and growing economies, sought to reshape the global economic landscape. These emerging economies are home to billions. With diverse cultures and rich histories, they bring a unique perspective to global discussions. They have vast resources and growing economies. From natural resources to technological advancements, BRICS nations are on the rise. Their goal? A bigger say in how the world works. They wanted to ensure that their voices were heard and their interests represented on the global stage. For a while, things seemed promising. The BRICS nations worked together, fostering cooperation and mutual understanding. BRICS nations cooperated on trade and finance. They signed agreements to boost trade among themselves and reduce dependency on Western economies. They created their own development bank. The new development bank aimed to fund infrastructure and sustainable development projects in BRICS and other emerging economies. They pushed for reforms in international institutions. BRICS leaders advocated for changes in organizations like the United Nations and the International Monetary Fund to better reflect the current global economic realities. But recent events show cracks in BRICS unity. Differences in political ideologies, economic strategies, and national interests began to surface. Internal disagreements threatened to derail its progress. The once united front now faces challenges from within, as member nations struggle to find common ground. The latest summit in Rio exposed these divisions for the world to see. The future of BRICS remains uncertain, but its impact on the global stage is undeniable. As the world watches, the BRICS nations continue to navigate their complex relationships and strive for a more balanced global order. The 2025 BRICS Summit in Rio de Janeiro was supposed to be a celebration. It was meant to be a momentous occasion, a gathering where the world's emerging economies would come together to showcase their unity and strength. The anticipation was palpable, with leaders from Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, along with new members, converging in the vibrant city of Rio. New members were welcomed into the fold. The inclusion of these new nations was seen as a significant step forward, a sign that BRICS was expanding its influence and reach. The atmosphere was initially filled with optimism and hope, as leaders exchanged warm handshakes and posed for photographs. Leaders planned to announce ambitious projects. These projects were designed to foster economic growth, enhance cooperation, and address global challenges. There were high hopes for initiatives in infrastructure, technology, and sustainable development. The world watched with bated breath, expecting groundbreaking announcements that would shape the future. Instead, the summit exposed deep divisions. As discussions progressed, it became clear that not all was well within the BRICS alliance. Differences in priorities and visions for the future began to surface, leading to heated debates and disagreements. Behind closed doors, arguments erupted. Public statements were strained. The facade of unity started to crumble as leaders struggled to find common ground. The media caught glimpses of tense interactions, and rumors of discord began to spread. The mood, tense and uncertain. The initial excitement gave way to anxiety and doubt. Delegates were seen with furrowed brows and worried expressions, as the weight of unresolved issues hung heavily in the air. The discord was impossible to ignore. The once cohesive group now appeared fragmented, with visible rifts between members. The grand vision of a united front seemed increasingly out of reach. Gone was the talk of unity and shared purpose. In its place, there was a palpable sense of disillusionment. Leaders who once spoke of solidarity now seemed distant and disconnected. In its place, suspicion and disagreement. Trust, the cornerstone of any alliance, was eroding. Leaders eyed each other warily, questioning motives and intentions. The summit ended with few concrete achievements. What went wrong? The grand announcements and ambitious projects were overshadowed by the underlying tensions. The world was left wondering how such a promising gathering could yield so little. The answer lies in the changing dynamics of BRICS. The geopolitical landscape is constantly evolving, and with it, the relationships between member nations. Economic pressures, political shifts, and global challenges all play a role in shaping these dynamics. New members bring their own agendas. Each nation has its own set of priorities and goals, which can sometimes clash with those of others. The inclusion of new members, while expanding the alliance, also introduces new complexities. Old agreements are now being questioned. As the world changes, so too do the terms of past agreements. What once seemed beneficial may no longer be relevant, leading to debates and renegotiations. The future of BRICS remains uncertain as it navigates these turbulent waters. BRICS expanded in 2024, welcoming new members. These additions brought new perspectives and priorities. They are eager to assert themselves. New members are less invested in past BRICS agreements. They don't feel bound by the group's history. They want to reshape BRICS to suit their interests. This creates friction with older members. They see the new members as disruptive. They fear their own influence waning. The Rio summit made this clear. New members pushed back against existing agreements. They demanded concessions and threatened to block initiatives. To understand the current rift, we need to look back. BRICS has a history of cooperation, albeit with challenges. It all started in 2001. Jim O'Neill, an economist, coined the term BRIC. He predicted the rise of these economies. The group held its first summit in 2009. Early on, BRICS focused on common ground. They called for a fairer global financial system. They promoted development and cooperation among themselves. There were successes. The new development bank, headquartered in Shanghai, was a major achievement. It funds infrastructure projects in developing countries. Section 5. Points of contention, where BRICS disagrees. Despite past cooperation, BRICS faces serious disagreements. These span economic policy, geopolitical alliances, and global governance. One major point of contention is trade. Some members want to create a BRICS-led trading bloc. Others prefer bilateral agreements. Another issue is geopolitical alliances. The war in Ukraine exposed these divisions. Some BRICS members condemned Russia's actions. Others remain neutral. Then there's the question of global governance. BRICS wants a bigger say in international institutions, but they disagree on how to achieve this. Section 6. Global implications, a divided BRICS. The rift within BRICS has serious consequences. A divided BRICS is less able to challenge the existing world order. It weakens their bargaining power in international negotiations. It undermines their efforts to promote a multipolar world. A divided BRICS also benefits the West. It allows them to exploit divisions. It makes it easier to pursue their own interests. The world is watching closely. The future of global governance hangs in the balance. Will BRICS overcome its differences or succumb to them? Section 7. The future of BRICS. Cooperation or conflict. Predicting the future of BRICS is difficult. Will they overcome their differences, or will these divisions deepen? Some analysts are optimistic. They point to the potential economic benefits of cooperation. They believe BRICS can still find common ground. Others are more pessimistic. They highlight the deep-seated mistrust and competing interests. They fear BRICS is heading for a breakdown. The next few years will be crucial. BRICS faces a choice: cooperation or conflict. The world will feel the consequences of their decision. Section 8. BRICS and the West. A new Cold War? Some observers see BRICS as a threat to the West. They argue that the economic and political alliance of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa is positioning itself as a counterbalance to Western influence. They fear a new Cold War with BRICS challenging Western dominance. This view is simplistic and overlooks the complexities of international relations. BRICS is not a monolithic bloc. Each member country has its own unique set of interests, priorities, and challenges. Its members have diverse interests. For instance, while China and India are major economic powerhouses, Brazil and South Africa have different economic and political landscapes. They are not united against the West. In fact, many BRICS countries maintain strong economic and diplomatic ties with Western nations. However, BRICS does represent a shift in power. The rise of these nations signifies a move towards a more multipolar world. The West can no longer dictate global rules unilaterally. The influence of emerging economies is reshaping the global order. They must learn to share power and cooperate with emerging nations. This requires a new approach to diplomacy and international relations. The relationship between BRICS and the West will shape the 21st century. How these powers interact will determine the future of global governance, trade, and security. It's crucial to move beyond Cold War thinking and embrace dialogue and cooperation. Only through mutual understanding and collaboration can we address the global challenges of our time, from climate change to economic inequality. The potential for cooperation is vast. BRICS and Western nations can work together on issues like sustainable development, technological innovation, and global health. By focusing on common goals and shared interests, we can build a more inclusive and resilient global community. The future depends on our ability to transcend old rivalries and forge new partnerships. The world is watching, and the stakes have never been higher. Let us seize this moment to create a world where cooperation, not conflict, defines our international relations. Section 9. Conclusion. Navigating a multipolar world. The world is becoming increasingly complex. Gone are the days of a simple East-West divide. We are entering a multipolar world. BRICS is a symptom of this shift. It reflects the emergence of new powers. It highlights the need for a more inclusive global order. The rift within BRICS is a reminder that this transition won't be easy. There will be challenges and setbacks. Dialogue and cooperation are essential. The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the world is changing. The old order is crumbling. A new multipolar world is taking shape.